Hello, Namaste, Sasrikal, good evening. Welcome to the S.S.Chandhok talk show. I'm your host and moderator, S.S.Chandhok. Today is a very pleasant and a very beautiful evening. Why? Because we have very beautiful guests from the different parts of the country, as well as we are going to talk about a very, very special and new topic. So, as a favorite of mine also, we had been knowing that abroad education is getting a lot of hype in the schools with the students and with the people. But there are a lot of misconceptions. There are a lot of queries with the people that how they can go to abroad for the education. Is it very difficult or it easy? What are the ways how we have to do it? All these things we are going to discuss, and we are starting up with a new season with the topics ins and outs of abroad education. Today we have very special guests for the first episode from the different parts of the country. First of all, we have a very, very experienced personality from Bangalore, although sir is from Denmark, if I'm not wrong, sir. From Denmark. Sir is Ellen Kejer Ederson, sir. Doesn't need an introduction. He's a director of Chaman Bharatiya School in Bangalore. He's a wonderful person. I already know him. He came in one of the episode earlier in the season. He's such a big and a good personality and so down to earth. He has a plethora of knowledge, and which he's going to share today also. Welcome, sir. Thank you so much, first of all, for joining us today. It's a pleasure always having you on the show. You know, the things which you share, your knowledge, what you share, it's really very important for all of us. Sir, as
Thank you.
I know about you, but still the people who will be looking into the show, your journey as an educationist, sir, and how did that you came into India and bless us all with all your qualities to the schools. Sir, over
Thank
to you.
you.
So please let us know about you, sir.
Yeah, I'm Allan Andersen. I'm a Danish national. So the topic today is, of course, also important for me. I've been in education since I was 20 years old in 1974. So I started as a teacher, and I've been a principal of several schools in Denmark, academic high schools and vocational schools. And on four occasions, I have been the founder of new schools. In Denmark, everything is in education is publicly financed. So coming to India, where it's very different, a private school system has been the biggest change for me. I was prepared for the cultural change, but to come from a government school system with quality government schools to a country where half of education in K to 12 is private has been a big change for me as principal and in my work. I can just add that Chaman Bharatiya School is a new school in Bangalore, and we have the vision to be makers of leaders. And the way we want to do it is by taking the best from India and merge it with the best from Scandinavia. That means to have the Indian high level in science and math combined with the more holistic approach that I'm used to from Denmark. And so far, I think it's going in the right direction. I'm not saying it's easy because it's two very different concept of schools, and it's sometimes has been difficult to explain for parents what we were up to. But so far, I think we are walking in the right direction, and we are taking it step by step. Yeah,
That's wonderful. That's wonderful, sir. And thank you so much once again for joining us, sir. Next, we have my favorite Yashika Bharadwaj ma'am. She is the director of Bharat Ram Global School. Whenever I talk to her, whenever I message her, the positive vibe that comes out of her gives a lot of energy that you become so positive that you want to explore the world. So it's always a pleasure, ma'am, having you on the show. And in fact, not talking even chatting on the WhatsApp also makes so energetic that I cannot tell you that, words are less, but energetic, that power you have in you, that you push up with the people, and everybody will like to be associated you for a very long time. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, first of all, for coming up to the show. And you have a versatile, that your knowledge and all the places you have worked, I know much about that, but still the people who are present over here will like to know a little about you, man. It's very big, but in precise, we like to know about that.
Thank you for your kind words and for having me here, Sarpreet. And very good evening to everybody present here. As Sarp has already introduced me, I am Yashika Bhardwaj. I got into education a very, very long time ago. My father was in the army, so we moved from place to place. And I had the good fortune or misfortune, whatever you call it, of finishing my schooling in the UK. So I finished my grade 9, 10, 11, and 12 in a wonderful school called the Kingdown Comprehensive School in a place called Warminster. And it's in a beautiful part of southwestern England in a county called Wiltshire. Came back here and, of course, finished my graduation from the Government College of Girls in Chandigarh, did my honors in English there, followed by my master's in English as well. And I followed it up with my B.Ed and my master's in education, both for which I brag about that I topped the university for both, and got into education, Alan, as you said, at a very young age. I graduated at 19 and a half, and my father was posted in a place where there was really nothing that I could do other than pursue my desire to teach. And I started teaching in a convent school at the age of 19 and a half, and I've not looked back ever since. As far as heading organizations is concerned, I've been the principal of CBSE schools for past 21 years and have moved a year ago to take on the role of a director of the Bharatram Global School. During this journey, of course, there's been a lot of lending my support to the teachers so that they can be empowered leaders themselves. And on the way, we've made some amazing changes in curriculum, in approach to teaching, especially in the pre-primary sections, where we were actually the founders of the idea of thematic teaching and not theme-based teaching, which is completely different. And authored a couple of books, including one which was featured in the London Book Fair as well. That was a work of fiction, but I'm very into sports even at this age. Perhaps, Sarab, that's what keeps me active, which is my love for sports even now. Thank you.
That's wonderful, ma'am. And we cannot ask your age, even, ma'am. So many years you have been working, but it's a crime to ask
18.
a lady. Yeah, 3 to
18 till I die.
No, we are always will be between 3 to 18 because we're always in that age group.
Absolutely.
Because DJ Singh sir can be of more age, but all of us will not be above 18. We are between 18. I am for around 14, 15, and you might be 16, 17. Same here with Ellen sir and Hemlata ma'am also. You see, when you go into the school and so small kids, when they come up to you and they hug you, and principal sir, this, and they're bringing roses. So, all the stress, what you call stress busters, when you go over there and you feel that everything is okay now, all is well. That happens with you. Thank you so much, ma'am, once again for joining us. I hope you have a good session today. And
Thank
see,
you so
my choice of the participant today, because I knew that like Ellen sir have a lot of knowledge about these things, and Yashika ma'am, you also had your education, everything. I knew about that. Because I thought you would be the best person, you people will be the best person to speak about this. Thank you so much, ma'am. Next we have Animesh Parekh sir. He is the founder and director of a very prestigious institution in Bhilwara, Rajasthan, that is New Look Central School. Let me tell you that sir had started the school himself, getting maybe in favor or against, I don't remember much, against the parents' will, and he started this because he wanted to bring education into that area. I am a big fan of him also, because what thing he did is, whatever, he's an engineer, he did whatever he did, instead of moving out abroad and going up for the higher education and the whatever services over there, job over there, he decided to do. Let us know from himself only. Thank you, sir, Animesh sir, for joining the show. Please elaborate, sir. Let us know about you.
Thank you, Sarabjit sir, for the introduction. Very good evening to all the people. See, as sir has already informed, I am not an basic education background person. I have completed my engineering. My schooling was completed from Maharana Mewar Public School, Udaipur. Then I completed my BTech Computer Science from Mumbai. then completed my advanced post-graduation diploma from NCST Mumbai, then completed my MBA. So, and I had worked in TCS and Tata Power as a senior software consultant for more than 4 years. See, coming into the education line from the basic route when I was 9 to 12th, I was in a habit of teaching my friends. So it started from that eagerness to teach the students. In engineering, I had been teaching the students more than what our lecturer used to do. So it started from that particular point of view. Passion comes up. When I was in a job, I thought this is not what I am looking forward from what I have to do in my life. So coming up to my hometown where my parents were staying, I came up there because
Great.
parents was alone. So I thought whether to come up in the city and do something there itself. So I started as a coaching center firstly, then looking into the city area. It's a rural area, sir. If you have heard the word Bhilwara, it's famous for textile. Textile industry is one of the greatest hub. Here people are all business class of the people, and everybody wants their children to get a good education. So here, when I come to Bhilwara, I thought why not to start up a small school only. So 20 years back in the year 2003, I started up the education sector, taking the land from the government. I had a lot of fight with the government for taking up the land, other policies, because when I thought of starting a school, we were not knowing what were the things required that time. But it was very difficult time. But see, when you are on a good motto, things becomes automatically channelized. So right now I am running a CBSE till 12th, science, commerce, and arts, with a strength of around 1500 students now. Thank you, sir.
That's wonderful, sir. And
Brilliant.
you started the school 20 years back. It just looked at you have just completed your education and you have just started the school. So young you look like.
So I
Thank you.
started
Thank you
at
so
22 actually, sir.
That's it. That's good, sir. Thank you so much, sir, once again for joining us. Next, we have Hemlata S. Murthy, ma'am. She is the director and principal of WPS Group of Schools, Bangalore. And Ellen, sir, she is in the same city, from the same city from where you are, Bangalore. I just saw that both of you are from Bangalore. Welcome, Hemlata, ma'am. It's a pleasure having you once again on the show. It's always a pleasure, ma'am. You are an all-rounder, ma'am. You are all-rounder, versatile. I had been seeing in the social media. I mean, we will see to that also at the end of the show that your whatever the extra qualities you have with you. But ma'am, we would like to know about your educational journey also.
Good evening, one and all. Good evening, sir, for giving the opportunity once again. While ever you ping me and try to ask, why don't you join? I don't deny at all. I would try to say yes for everything. Reason is that the respect I carry for you, the challenges you've been giving to the people through the virtual shows. What an amazing show it is, sir. So coming to the introduction of me, it happened through you also indirectly, sir. While I started doing a journey with you in the 4 shows which I got connected to you. Recently, I have also started one of my own small company where it is talk to reach. It is called as Dyota, which is nothing but called as illuminous or light. Before that, how did I come to this conclusion? My education is completely from Bangalore. I did my education in a convent of St. Anne's. It was a journey where it took that I wanted to become a doctor and landed up being a doctor or called as a PhD holder in microbiology. Started my journey of teaching in MS Ramaya group of institutions, which is a institution gave me enormous energy to teach medical students, could be biotechnology, genetics, or called as the our own subject microbiology. From there, went with the challenge of taking up administration. Administration came up with taking up with called as the principal for a school and college. I've been heading as principal since 17 years. It was first started with the school of ICSE. Then we went on with the journey for both CBSE, ICSE, as well as Diksha group of institutions. Maybe if sir from the other branch in Bangalore, if he's heard for Diksha, I have been heading that continuously. After that, then while I did my postdoc in child in education, why don't I get into preschools as well as chain of preschools? I'm directing chain of preschools with the schools totally 19 branches all over India. And this journey gave me an idea that why don't we try to reach the youth and make our talent. It is not only education. There are so many sectors where youth is still now not understanding where to do, what to do, how to do. Talent is with every one of us. How unique it is, how challenging it has to be taken away. We are deprived. After COVID, most of the kids have lost that connectivity also. So how to come up with an idea? So started my own shows. It is happening. Blessed. And one of you also, Chandok sir, it was you who gave me this challenge also. So been doing it. I personally thank you for giving me that courage indirectly. So this is a small introduction of mine. Thank you.
Pleasure is my man, and thank you so much for the kind words. I'm passing it to everyone also. And exchange of ideas and exchange of all these things is the most important thing which we have in education, ma'am. Thank you once again, ma'am, for joining us. Next, we have an expert of today. We have Dr. DJ Singh. He is the CEO of Crossland. He is international career and migration expert. About sir, there are a lot of things to understand and to talk about, but in precise, I'll talk about him. He's an international career and migration advisor with Crossland Education and Career, that is in Chandigarh. He is an ex-resident of Australia. He has traveled across the globe as student, professor, corporate trainer, management consultant, and leadership coach. Sir has 23 years of experience and has worked with leading Indian companies like Escort, Bajaj, Eicher, and with international companies as Ford, Mitsubishi, Class, JCB, and leading companies. Talking about Sir, through social media, I came into contact with him and I came to know that he is doing something which is related to this education abroad. So it clicked into my mind because always in my show, I'm trying to take up the topics which are very, very important for the students and for the children. So I requested, sir, that please come up for a few shows to us and guide us because there's a lot of scope, lot of students, lot of parents, they have misconceptions about foreign education. People think that it is a very, very difficult thing, but it is not so. And this will all be done by the discussion and by the expert views of DJ Singh sir also. First of all, thank you so much, sir, for joining us. Please let us know about yourself, your career, and how did it came into your mind? You had been traveling, you had been in Australia for so many times, resident over there also. How did it came to your mind to come up and start up with a venture like Crossland? Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Chandok sir. Very good evening to all the panelists. It's a really delight to meet you all and to know about you. And Chandok sir, thank you so much for elaborative question. But I personally feel I'm still a student and a learner. So every day something is coming to you and you have to take that challenge and manage those challenges and live a life accordingly. So as a human being, first of all, I will say that after getting so much things, achieving so much things, running an institution, running coaching institutes, traveling abroad and everything, I really found many times that there is a disconnect between us as the education leaders and the students. So because we have the responsibilities of meeting so many or handling so many schools or colleges or institutions that we only have limited time and we interact with mostly with our own team members and less of with parents or with the children one-to-one. So I started feeling this gap when I was running my own institutions. I started founding. That was my little research which I did, and I thought with the experience like us, all of us having, we should be more connecting with the students where we can directly influence the students or guide them with our experiences rather than going through a different channels. So that's how my idea came that I should be doing something as an educationist or as an institution where I am more interacting with the students rather than the team members, which should be our half and half kind of a job. What is my personal feeling? We should be spending half of the day with our team members and half of the day with the students directly helping them in achieving their goals. So this is how my idea was, and that's how we started this company called Crossland Education and Careers. So in this, our main business, you can say that objective is to help students prepare themselves for higher education, or help them settling abroad. But we did not specifically give this company as cross-land migration or consultants or something like that. We specifically took up this name that we will be helping students with higher education and as well as with their careers. So many a times I have seen students uh, asking me questions that I want to settle abroad, but they are not aware about what is lying for them when they are going abroad. So what kind of careers they choose, what kind of countries they choose. So this was the basic idea about starting up this company, Crossland, where we help students, guide them properly with our experiences, and so that they can have a right and future, a bright career abroad. So it's not just like landing in an offshore country and finding something. It's totally alien world. There's total cultural shocks and things which they face if they don't go prepared. So that was the idea about
Right.
starting this company to help our own students who are passing from our own institutions. And I also found one more thing, which was like many a times I've seen that our own students who are graduating from our own college or our own institutions were getting fleed by the unscrupulous kind of people. So they were sending into the wrong countries and to wrong programs just to where they were getting more money. They were trying to give them that kind of options, which I really felt very hard. One of my students suffered very badly with that, and that made me more into come into this profession.
That's wonderful, sir. It's not only about sending to wrong country. They have started up their, that shops over, sorry, I'm using this word, everywhere in every city. And they are just making people fool of that, okay, we'll get this done for you. And lakhs of rupees they are taking and they are running away from the city. So, and at the very same time, if they're sending also, as you said, they're sending up to the wrong places according to their convenience and where they are getting high percentage of money, whatever it is. So here, we'll also like to know from you further in the later part of the session that what are the pros and cons and what should be done and what is right and what is wrong. We'll ask from you, sir. Thank you so much once again, sir, for joining us, and hope to have a good discussion with you and a lot of knowledge from you in the later part of the session. Thank you so much, sir.
Yes.
We'll come up to the first round now for the questioning. Alan sir, we'll come up to you first. Alan sir, according to you, what is the importance of education abroad, or why do students prefer to study abroad?
I think the most important answer to your question is that we need to prepare, or the students need to prepare themselves for an interconnected world. And even though we have had countries, the international economy is interconnected. And most of the students from further education institutions will work in a company, whether it's in India or outside India, that is connected to other countries. So to have had the experience yourself by being in another country, adapting to another culture, understanding the differences, being able to collaborate with people that are very different from yourself, have different food cultures, different way of dressing, different democratic values, or whatever it can be, is a very important experience, because by doing it, you know that you can't expect all other people in the world to think like you do. You know, I'm not saying that you're wrong because you come from India. It's very fine. It's an important contribution to the world that we have Indian culture. But Indians are different from other people, like Danes are different from other people. So just to have one or two of these kinds of experiences that other people are not like you are, but you can work with them if you understand them and have empathy and is able to see things from their side. So I think that is one important aspect. The other aspect is that you also experience different education cultures. With new education policy in India, we're discussing how Indian education need to innovate. But you can visit further education institutions in other countries that have already done so, that have more innovative teaching methods, other ways of engaging students. So you also get a flavor of how the future of education could look like. So I think it should be part of all people's education that you have at least 1 year abroad. And we have in Denmark, we have integrated that into all studies. So it's easy for young people in Denmark to take 6 months or 1 year or even more in another country. So I think young people in India from backgrounds that can pay for it should absolutely not fear doing it. It's an important experience. But I'll say one more thing, and that is they shouldn't be too happy for the country they come to, because we also need to get people with these competences back to India and do something for India. So I think it's also important that we give them that value, that it's important to do something for your country. It sounds old-fashioned, but I really think we miss that in India, this wish to be a good citizen. So we shouldn't only talk about doing things abroad. We should also talk about how can we get people back and do something for India.
Wonderful, sir. Wonderful. That's absolutely right, sir. You're absolutely right. You had touched the main point that people, they go to study abroad and they do job there only, they work there only. No, they should learn and they should come back to their own country to give that to their own country. Wonderful, sir. Wonderful, sir. Thank you so much, sir. We'll come up to Yashika ma'am now. Yashika ma'am, according to you, what are the benefits of studying abroad?
Thank you for that question. I think the benefits of having studied abroad is the mere fact that I'm standing or sitting before you and speaking with you right now. As Alan had just mentioned, the world is a place where borders exist purely as far as the atlas is concerned, or the physical boundaries of a country are concerned. As far as business is concerned, trade is concerned, workplace scenarios are concerned, they are pretty much borderless countries right now. And you've got organizations which are working across the globe, and they may be centered in one country, but they do have their head offices in various other countries. And when you go from one place to another, you'll find the work environment and the work culture pretty much the same. And one example, if you see for business from that perspective, is McDonald's. No matter where you go in the world, the taste is always the same. The benefit of studying abroad is that it gives you that little extra edge. It gives you a direct exposure into the culture of another country, pretty much the same as what we say when we say that you should travel as much as you can, because travel itself is a great teacher. So when we encourage people to go to other parts of our own country, to the various states, because the culture in the west of India is completely different to that in the south or the far east. And then we encourage people to go abroad to travel as well, because it's a great learner. Similarly, when you're learning abroad, there are two things that happen here, and I speak from personal experience. One, and I moved to the UK in the year 1978 and came back in 82. And that was a time when India is not, or was not, considered as it is now. So there was a dual role that I had to perform over there as a student to validate my standing as a student representing my country, and also to take back from there whatever I could, which was the best from that country. So from that perspective, it was important to me to be able to stand up for my nation. And there come the elements of citizenship or nationhood, as Alan was saying. And I do remember having to stand for myself and justify what my country stood for. When I came back from there after having studied for 4 years, the studying environment was very different. Like, for a very small example, in India, when you ask a question from a student, you expect the student to stand up and answer. And when I went over there, the students don't stand up and answer, very small thing. And I remember my biology teacher asking me, why do you stand up every time I ask you a question? And I said, sir, it's out of respect for the teacher. And he says, you mean you don't respect me if you sit down? And that got me thinking. And when I was teaching in schools, And when I was taking the senior classes, even till date, I do not allow my students to stand and answer. A very small, subtle change. Plus, the idea that you need to empower your children in your class and give them the liberty to take decisions for themselves. See, the curriculum is not going to change. If I'm going to be teaching students about the the ocean currents don't change whether you're in India or whether you're in Germany or whether you're in UK or USA. The content stays the same. It's how you are delivering the lesson that changes. The attitude or aptitude of the teacher. And somewhere when you're studying in that environment, you take in a lot of the delivery mechanisms that are there as well. So I think it gives you the extra edge because you're exposed not just to a culture, but different people. And nowadays, in any country that you go to, you've got students from all over the world studying over there. So it is important we understand that we are a global community. And in order to be able to understand that community better, to get a sense of independence as well, because in India, we do have what I call helicopter parents. They're there all the time, controlling everything that you have to decide for yourself. So, to get that sense of independence and responsibility, it is important for you to take some time off and venture out on your own.
Well said, ma'am. Well said. Because it is like in the Indian parents, they want that if a son is born in the in the house, he has to become either a doctor or an engineer. And they will in class grade 4 and 5 will start saying he has to become an engineer. So they are putting their things on the pressure on the child, and this should not be there. When the child moves out and studies and works and do all the things. I have so many students who had gone abroad. One of the students, in India, it is very good that if you're paying around some money and you're getting all that servants to do all the work, even you're not picking up a glass of water even. But when you go in foreign countries, you have to do everything. So he went off, one of the student, I'm telling his experience when he came back. He said, sir, when I went there for 1 year, I was not doing anything. I was just studying. But when I saw everybody's working over there, I also started working. When I'm coming up, I'm paying for my play tickets also and bringing beautiful gifts for my family also. And my parents are saying, "Mera ladka to kamau ho gaya hai." He has started earning also. So that concept, that mind, that mindset which you want, both of you wanted to say was that the mindset changes when you are allowed to work independent, either work and study together. That is very important. That exposure should be given to the children once in a life. This is what Ellen sir also said, and you also said. At least for 1 year, they should be given such an exposure. And again, like Ellen sir said, go for 1 year and come back and give that to the country. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ma'am. I'll come up to Animesh sir now. Animesh sir, we like to know your views on the saying that there are a lot of challenges when you are going for abroad education. Please elaborate.
Thank you for the question, Sarabjit sir. Definitely, as a student, when you're thinking to go abroad, finding the correct college, and after moving it, the main problem comes of finding the suitable accommodations. Very often, on-campus accommodation gets filled faster, and students have to resort to other means of accommodation outside the university campus. This often makes a huge pay amount to avail your preferred accommodations. Managing finance, another point, managing finance. Irrespective of all your efforts to plan your financial budget and also track your expenses throughout your stay, sometimes it really gets tough to manage the expenses. Even if you are managing your money perfectly well, you can end up having less than what you need. Homesickness. Some students sometimes feel homesick. Homesickness is one of the common study abroad challenging encountered by students. Homesickness is sometimes very common when you are away from your loved ones. It will affect you immensely when you are bored. So it is always advised to stay active. You need to connect with the people, especially fellow students. You are feeling the same and embrace as much as you need surrounding as possible. Experiencing cultural shock. This is one of the major study abroad challenges that international students encounter. You may find that yourself you must very affected by the sudden shift in culture, starting from food, rituals, transport systems, style of dress may differ from those from your home country. Unfortunately, the cultural shock can always lead to frustration, anxiety, and sometimes homesickness. Then, understanding the currency differences. Sometimes students need to calculate when you are spending, and when you are out of the country, you cannot expect the same thing as calculation if you are calculating from your home country. One US dollar may means 85 rupees there, and so you have to think in those perspectives. Your calculation should be fast enough to calculate then when you are for shopping. Different time zone problems. When you have to be, when you are talking to your loved ones, need to know the time zone difference. When you have to talk, morning, evening, you cannot talk as per your convenience over there. Managing academic standards, new experience will come be more interesting living from home. There can be plenty of new things you may want to try out. All you need to do is to buckle down and work smart. Facing climate uncertainties. Sometimes which country you are going on, climate do affect the students. In Russia, sometimes the climate is minus 10, 15, 20 degrees Celsius. I have seen many students going for medical for Russia or Ukraine, but this time, uncertainly, those who have come back, they are allowed to come back to India and pursue their studies back. Otherwise, the students are not knowing about the climate conditions. And make mostly last but not the least, making new friends. Making new friends is not easy, especially if you are a people from diverse cultural and religious background. Different languages, communication become a new challenge. Sometimes it is difficult to find like-minded people, and so be prepared to spend time by yourself, opt for good hobbies, tell your people who can actually be your friends. So basically, you have to research the university well before going to any college. Check the validity of the college credentials, know the university rankings, look out for student support service, build network with the locals. Do not hesitate to ask for help and obtain health insurance and other things, whatever were possible, and get an international student ID if it is possible. That's all from my side.
Sir.
Thank you, Sanjeev sir.
That's that there's a lot of things that maybe the child or the student has to take care of. But we say that no pain, no gain. So that thing also a lot of research work and some pain has to be taken within, because these youngsters, they catch up the things very, very easily and very fast as compared to us. So what we say that no pain, no gain, it is always there. We'll talk about this also to DJ sir also, that how these things are being managed. We'll come up to, thank you so much, sir. We'll come up to Himlita ma'am now. Himlita ma'am, we'll also like to know from you that do you think that studying abroad is safe for the students? Because you're quite far away, thousands of kilometers, miles away from your home. If something, if the problem is happening, so do you think it is safe for them?
Thank you for the question, sir. Definitely, before, while Indian students had to go to abroad, they had to think thousand times. I don't want to use the word as racism, because see that always comes into the mindset while we all are from India. But now most of the students who are doing, they are pursuing foreign education or going from India, they are confident enough, and there is so much of safety being given to them from the particular governments of that particular country. Everybody choose US, everybody tell UK, but what is the zone of Indians? Every nook crossroad of Dallas or Texas, we see Indians there. That is because the safety that particular country is given. Maybe even now we talk, trying to tell that yes, it is not safe, but I clearly tell every country is taking its chance, because mutual respect is always there. While we try to think broader and try to understand that it is, we have gone for our need and we try to sit in our barricade and pursue what we want. It is not going to be a difficult task at all. But sometimes while we step away and try to behave a different way, definitely there comes a barricaders or called as, we have to face the issues that happens within us only and because of us only. So that there I try to tell is that studying abroad is total safe, because while we are talking about artificial intelligence now, I don't think so India is understanding what exactly is artificial intelligence. But while I ask a child of UK or US, The method of putting it out could be a Finland. They tell it in enormous way. We are lacking that competitive understanding. See, competence. We tell win-win situation, but where is the win-win situation? Still, we have to give the space. We have to go away. As ma'am was trying to tell, we need to travel. We need to understand. We have to get that cultural, get away from cultural shocks. Food, especially, sir, you were only telling Bangalore is the place where it gives only South India. But while we try to move abroad, we have to get adjusted and adapted, and the countries are giving that space for us. So we will have to thank them, and we will also have to learn a lot of things. Like ma'am was trying to talk about McDonald's from our own CCD, who's from Siddharth, Cafe Coffee Day. How did it happen, sir? It was the thought process which we take over from the other country. So while we don't understand, study abroad, and come up with few needs for us and put it, implement in our country. For that, we need to do some extra challenges moving away from the zone, sir.
Absolutely right, ma'am. Absolutely right, ma'am. And when you are talking about AI, the challenges which are being faced by the students when they go abroad, let me share an experience. I have shared it earlier or not. 2, 3 months back, I went to DU, Delhi University in Motilal Nehru College, so to take a workshop of the students. And there, one of the students said that I had passed my competitive exams with 99 point something percentile, and all the colleges doors were open for me in India, but I wanted to take admission in Germany. But I went there, I was being refused because I did not have the knowledge of AI. In India, most of the schools with startup AI, that is computer science, in 11th and 12th, the child struggles with the board examination, only theoretical is done. But now AI is getting started from grade 1 onwards. Because when we are talking about this, it is not happening everywhere. Maybe many schools are doing it from the last many years, but the maximum quantity, they are not doing it. So AI is something which is very important for the future, because we are teaching the children for the future. And we have to get them ready for future, not for today. The teachers, they have studied, I mean, the way they have studied 20, 30 years back, the same way they are teaching the students. That is what the changes what are needed. Thank you so much, Amrita ma'am. Yes, sir.
Can I add one thing about safety?
Sure.
Because Indians are very particular about that. But they have a very limited understanding of safety. Safety is 10 guards in front of a school. But other countries, for example, in Central and Northern Europe, safety is citizenship. So you take care of each other. You don't need guards in front of a school. Because the country in itself is safe. You are not in danger when you're walking the streets of Copenhagen or Berlin or Amsterdam or whatever. So Indians also need to understand the different concepts of safety. I think safety is not gated communities or armed guards, because it's not necessary in many countries. So there's no reason to be afraid to go to most countries, because they have just other safety values. They don't need the same kind of security and safety as we have here in India.
You're absolutely right, sir. We have seen in so many countries, even the prime minister or presidents, they are moving up like a common man on the streets and everywhere. And they are not getting so much weightage over there because they are a common man. So this is what we call safety.
Our crown prince is taking his bicycle and his children to the KG without any guards.
Absolutely right, sir. Citizenship is the most important thing which make you safe, not with the guards. Absolutely right, sir. Thank you so much, sir. We'll come up to DJ, sir. DJ, sir, you heard all the eminent guests present over here about everything about the abroad education. First of all, we'd like to know your expert views on whatever everybody said. It may be regarding the safety, the importance or benefits of going to abroad education and all. And next, we'll come to know about from you. What are the courses available? What are the exams they have to pass when they have to go to the different countries? So please let us know. Elaborate, please.
Thank you, Chandhok sir. We have a very eminent panelist, and I have to counter or agree with them or disagree with them. It's a very challenging thing for me to say. On one, let me start with what Mr. Allen said. We are in a global world now. It's not physically boundaries, and then we have global economies. We have supply chain systems across the globe, and once or has disrupted the whole ecosystem of the world. So even if we are living in that kind of a global world now. So in one country, if one in one of the world, if there is no climate control changes, it is affecting the whole world. So this is one earth, one place, and we have to prepare ourselves to live in a global world future also. Particularly talking with AI also. AI is again delimiting your boundaries. You can do anything from anywhere. Technology is changing so fast. So to live in a global world, we should prepare our youngsters, nations to take up those competitive other countries also. Definitely, if in a new world, grow, do business across the globe, they have to prepare themselves and understand each other countries, ecosystems and economies and cultural changes. Then only somebody can work or operate at a global level. So if you want to be a CEO of PepsiCo or Google or any other company, multinational company, you need to understand the global education. You need to understand a lot of things and prepare yourself to work in those environments. When you are preparing for such a big thing to become for a new generation entrepreneur or a professional or a tech giant company, I agree you have to prepare again very hard on that. And I agree with Mr. Animesh, the challenges the student face. So they have to prepare with all those challenges. He has mentioned very rightly all the challenges. These are the challenges every human being face. Your food habits, your living standards, your cultural shocks, your weather preparation, your climate accommodation. So all these challenges are definitely there, and one has to prepare for that. So this is not like, even if we are preparing for Indian entrance exam like IIT or NEET, we start preparing 3 years, 4 years down for those entrance tests, and we consider all the parameters what these tests required, and we prepare them our children to pass those tests. So it's the same thing, Mr. Nimesh, when somebody is going abroad and want to learn new things, want to adopt to new things, they have to prepare with all the challenges they are going to face. Life is uncertain. We don't know what's going to happen with us even tomorrow. So we also have to see all those uncertainties. And but studying abroad or living abroad and then settling abroad is not a new thing. It's very now getting frequent. Also, people know what are the challenges are coming. Except the pandemics or uncertain thing, unforeseen things like COVID, which nobody was prepared. But other way, how to reach there, how to get a best accommodation, suitable accommodation. There are a lot of support services available now for the students to easily settle those countries so that they don't face the problems. Technology again has brought close to us. We are sitting in different places and talking. Similarly, now parents and students are directly linked with video calls, WhatsApp calls. It's not like what we did a year, 20 years back when we had to even locally book a call and talk to our parents. I was in Chandigarh, my parents were 200 kilometers far away, and we could hardly meet on Sundays and talk to them. This is now 1 minute accessibility we have now. So things have changed very fast. So in fact, today's youth is more connected. They have more social sites and more connected with each other than we are. So these challenges also one has to prepare. Next point we were talking about was security. I agree with Mr. Allen. There are countries which are, as a citizen or as a country, safe countries, but there are also environments where you put yourself in. If you are going alone at 9 o'clock, even in Delhi, Bangalore, in this case, you are traveling 9 o'clock in New York or plus globally in any big city. So you are alone, you're traveling or you're walking alone at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, and in that particular areas where there are bars and clubs and pubs, you can face challenges. You can face risks also. So it is all about your own personal care. You have to manage yourself and you have to plan yourself. And this is the job of the consultants who have to tell our youth. It's not like we do the process of simply making their applications or visa filing playing or other things, considering this thing, we also have to guide the students who are traveling abroad how to, before they leave the country, how to prepare themselves for the next world. So it all starts with good consultants. They start talking to the students and the parents right from the day one. When the parents come to us, start counseling. These questions all come from the parents, and we have to guide them and give them support and tell them that yes, there are certain challenges, but there are ways and means to prepare yourself, and you can handle it. So these awareness has to be given to the uh, youngsters. Now, there are also one more thing I would like to bring here. There's a difference between a class 12, K-12 student passing out and going abroad, and then there is a graduate student going abroad. So there's a difference of maturity. There's a difference of skills they have got by that time. So we need to prepare them accordingly.
Right. So that means when the students are coming up to you, people like you, so you people are guiding them, counseling them that these are the things. I mean, these will be the weather, this will be the condition, and these are the things, the courses available over there. So, sir, usually when the people are coming, like in Punjab, there's a tradition that every second home they're going to Canada. Canada jana ji. When you say it in Punjab, you say Canada jana ji. So, what is there that people are fond of, and what are the criteria reaching over to the countries like UK and Canada and all these places? I have heard of these bands, taking up bands and all. So, what type of tests and exams are being taken for going to these countries, and what is the scope there in these countries?
I will take this question three parts. So first is the eligibility of, first we see the motivation level, let's say put it, why they want to be in those countries, like what is making them do everything to land in those countries. So there are two, three factors to this, which I really see it. One is the career opportunities they see here in India. So that is the biggest problem they are facing. So we have all the corporates coming in India and operating, but the skills they are getting from the Indian education system or higher education system from universities or colleges, they are not somehow matching with the industry requirement. So, and the type of employment or number of people, there are employment opportunities, those as per our population growth, those are not coming. So even with the new defense recruitment policy, there are now challenges. So there are different kind of students everywhere. There is students from the schools, premium schools. There are students from the middle schools, middle quality schools, and there is a low strata schools. So everybody has their own perception of going abroad and settling abroad. So one big factor I see is the employment or re-establishing themselves into the Indian economic system. So, for example, even for a businessman, children, if they want to set up their children in the business, either they can bring them in their own business or to set up in a new business, it requires a lot of investment. So today, a reasonable shop or an office kind of space in Chandigarh costs at least in lakhs, minimum lakhs. So anything a small business want to put their children into, they need multi-crore rupees, like 2 to 3 crore rupees to set up a small business. And there is no social security, there is no sort of a investment return or other issues. So I see insecurity, particularly with the employment part, is one area where most of the students or parents have started thinking, let's invest 20 lakhs, 40 lakhs, or even 1 crore and put the student in a good international college and universities, and then they can make their own way. That is the one big reason, the motivation which people from Punjab or other ways are looking. From a service class point of view, government jobs are limited, social security, the private jobs are now limited. There was a time when all the private sector banks or organization grew. Now they are also facing stagnation, and there is a competition in that. So even there is no job into that level, like a starter graduate from a college or a university is from a normal college and university. I'm not talking about IIT, JEEs. In fact, last 3-4 years, their placement levels have also gone down. Is not starting at a 6 lakh package, annual package. Whereas the minimum wage internationally for a fresh graduate is 25 to 30 lakh rupees. So there the source of income, or you can say ROI on your time and energy which you're putting, is much higher and much better for the youngsters. So these are various factors which is motivating all the parents, service class parents, business class parents, farmers. The agriculture income is not growing. So everybody wants to see where there are green areas where there is more income for their children with low investment. They can establish their next generation. Of course, safety and security, traffic jams.
Right.
These are all social factors which influence parents to send their children abroad. Our healthcare system, with the growing population, our healthcare system, even with the private industry coming in, is not that fast, that easily available. Cost of healthcare is not easy or cheap, affordable. It's getting expensive every day. So these are the social factors which influence the parents to send their children abroad. Now, second part of it was of your question, which I take it, was about the eligibility criteria. So of course, if the students are going to English-speaking countries, so they have to have, apart from their academic requirements of minimum around 50 to 60%, which is bare minimum lowest, they need to have a better communication skill. They need to have all the four aspects of verbal and non-verbal, because professor, whatever they are speaking, they have to listen, they have to write the assignments. So they have to come up to those English language standards. So which particularly in our I can say premium schools, the students are lacking. Even if they are good in one part or two parts, unless they are ICSE or IB kind of education system, communication levels, we find are very bad. Thinking in Hindi and they have to speak in English or write in English. So that factor is actually very bad for our thing. So we need to really improve on that. So of course, for that, they need to give their English language test, IELTS, PTE, or various other tests are there, TOEFL, as I said earlier. So we need to prepare our students for better communication skills in all regards, verbal or non-verbal. And then apart from that, if they are going for a STEM kind of a program for engineering or management, then the second eligibility, they need to do SAT or GMAT or GRE tests. So this was
Right.
my answer to your question.
Yes, ma'am. Jessica, ma'am, you wanted to say something?
Mr. DJ, you've touched a very topic which is very sensitive and close to my heart, which is the IELTS program and the exam that one has to take. And although I know that this is not the forum to take it on, but maybe it gives you a thought that maybe we can take it on. As I mentioned to you, I finished my schooling in the UK and I'd done my honors in English from Punjab University and my master's. And there was a time when we were also contemplating, because my husband's family is from Australia, to move over there. And I was horrified to know that I need to take an IELTS exam to be able to prove that I can communicate. So I went, it was that time IDP was doing it for about 8,670 something rupees. And I went to the IDP. I also went to the Australian embassy. And I asked them, I said, you seriously need me to communicate or prove to you that I can read, speak, write in English? They said, yes, ma'am. I said, firstly, as per your details, do you recognize my master's from Punjab University in English? They said, yes, we do. You recognize my honors in Punjab University in English? Yes, we do. I said, let's assume that you don't recognize them. Do you recognize my O levels and A levels from England? They said, yes, we do. I said, yet you need me to prove to you that I can read, write, speak, and listen in English? They said, ma'am, that's the system. I think maybe we must put it into our education, the bigwigs there, that some kind of an understanding or an MOU needs to be signed, that such kind of a system doesn't need to exist. I did take the IELTS exam, and in the academic bandwidth, my score was a 999, 8.5. And then I challenged them that my 8.5 should have been a 9 and not that. It was just something that I needed to do, not because of the score. But I think the system of this IELTS needs to be thought again, because if we are speaking about global boundaries not existing and people coming in to study in India, coming in to work in India and vice versa, then we need to have the systems sorted out in such a way that students who are able to get credentials from overseas are justified in taking up the job or study further on?
The system is there, ma'am. The system, we talk in education also. If you have not done your bachelor's in education, you are not a teacher. I have seen teachers, or must have seen teachers who have done doctorate also, that is PhD also, but they are not able to write a proper application in English. But when you get the practical knowledge, then you are a teacher, but you need B.Ed. That system, yes, sir. Yes, sir, DJ, sir.
You are right also, but at the end of the day, we are it's a democracy and it's a socialist world. So everybody has to prove his credentials. So
yeah, but the saddest was that would they ask a British citizen to take the IELTS exam who's got the same qualifications in education as O level and A level as I do? Answer is no. It's just because I hold an Indian passport.
I'll put you that perspective into that. These days, we see a lot of African students, they are coming to India. Yes. But our Indian government is not making mandatory for them to do Hindi test before they come to India, and they are finding a lot of challenges there. So it's a different thing. It's all about the business you are trying to do, and you have to assess the student. So in one aspect, it is right, and one aspect, it is wrong. But I have also seen a lot of BDS or MBBS doctors when they are preparing to go to UK for their exam, for their work permits or higher ed, they fail in English language. Even the MBBS doctors in India, I have seen that. So we have different kind of a level of institutions everywhere across the globe or even in India. So there's a lot of communication challenges, and I per se feel that this is not a wrong method. At least at the end of the day, just for giving the exams, many students improve their communication skills.
Absolutely right, but let's not discuss about this because this is a system which has to happen.
You can't do anything.
You can't do anything to it. Thank you so much, ma'am. We'll come up to the next part, and I request we have a time limit to keep your answer very precise. Alan sir, will come up to you now. Alan sir, as already we had discussed during the starting of the session, that we come to know that students, they start working also along when they are studying. So do you think it is right to work along with studying? Because when you come in India, your son is doing work in McDonald's. People don't have money, Indian culture, we say that, tumhara ladka is working over there, son is working over there. Itna paise ki kami hogi aapko. But when they're going abroad, they're working. So is that right or that it is wrong?
I don't think there's an easy answer to that. I would not be the right person to say that it's wrong because I did it myself. I've been working all along my studies from the first year. So I couldn't have started as a teacher so early if I hadn't done that. And I have also always, as a high school principal in Denmark, said there's nothing wrong with work as such, but it's about finding the right balance between work and studies. Because you get a lot of learning from work. Work that you can also, knowledge that you can also use in your studies. You meet other kinds of people than academics. You meet the average people in that country. So there are many takeaways from work also. And in Denmark, we have a high state stipend in further education, but all Danish students work because they want a high standard of living. So they work so much that it actually impacts their studies. They work too much and study too little. So I think if it's the culture in the country where you come as a student, you should do it because that's what the local students do. But you should find the right balance because you are there to study. You're not there to work. But it will also, of course, depend on your financial situation if it's the right or wrong thing to do. But I think that sometimes in India and maybe in other Asian countries too, the culture says there's only learning in studies and teaching lessons, and that's not the case. There's a lot of learning in a work environment, and one thing that Indian students lack compared to students from some other countries is to be able to connect what they have learned at the university to the real world, to a real workplace. And if you have some experience with real work, then it will become easier for you. You know about how to treat colleagues, you know about discipline. There are many things you learn from that. So yes, it's on one side and on the other side. So it's a question of balance and the local culture.
Absolutely right, sir, because now in the Indian government also is coming up with an EP and so many things that practical knowledge should be given to the students. Like we were talking that bachelor's in education, B.Ed has to be done to become a teacher. You don't learn anything when you're doing the course, but practically learn when you come up to the teaching. So this is important when you are studying as well as working out. So the experience you get from the working out, that also works when you are studying over there. And also you are able to bear your expenses also. It has started now in India also that students have started working, and that's good. Thank you so much, sir. Yashika ma'am, we'll also like to know your views on the same point.
Thank you. In fact, I would say that the Indian government with the CBSE starting all their skill-based courses, the focus is this, that a child should be able to earn his keep at least when he comes out of grade 12. And working along with studying, when we go abroad, I think it's a universal pattern across the countries that you are allowed 20 hours of work in a week so that you can actually complement the amount of money excuse me, that you are spending and sort of recover some of it. As a student, I remember when I was just 16, I think, Mr. DJ had mentioned that when students start seeing people around them working, they say, we also started doing the same. And in school, my friends used to babysit. Excuse me. When you babysit somebody, it's a young couple who's going out, but needs the baby to be looked after for some time, for an hour or two. And it's at that point of time, like Alan said, you're learning responsibility at some sort or the other. A 16 or 17-year-old is going to somebody else's house, making sure the child is okay, making sure you are responsibly occupied, and that person's house is also your responsibility for that period of time, and you're getting paid for it. So you're responsible for your money. I think it's very, very important that a student who comes out of grade 12 must have employability skills. And the one bane that we have in our higher education is that the students coming out from college do not have those employability skills. And if we can get those students from grade 12 to understand what work life is, it would be an asset to the nation as a whole.
Absolutely right, ma'am. Absolutely right. Thank you so much, ma'am. We'll come up to Animesh sir now. Sir, according to you, is it better to study abroad rather than studying in the country?
Thank you for the question, Chandhok sir. See, benefits of studying abroad. One of the main benefits of studying abroad is that you would have the chance of experiencing a different style of study, education. It provides you with international learning and working experience at an early stage. It widens your career opportunities and help you learn global techniques and methods in your field of study. Studying abroad helps you receive the best possible teaching in field of your study. One of the way other students used to move, experiencing the world. The world is new and the experience is infinity. Most students choose abroad not only for better education, but also to travel new places and explore the world. During your leisure time, you can go explore new city, neighboring regions, and other nearby countries, as you are not limited to one place. You can feel confident. Being independent is the greatest gift one can ask for. You feel independence when you choose to study abroad. You will have a time to know about yourself. These times are greatest for your self-development. Nothing is interesting like being on your own in a foreign country. You will slowly realize that pursuing abroad studies have enhanced your confidence and brought your individuality, which can be considered one of the benefits of studying abroad. It will also give you gain independence. Students living abroad for studies experience independence outside the comfort of their homes. Studying abroad comes on an exciting new challenge with different experience. One has to rely without family for cooking, cleaning, managing different household works. And last but not the least, according to me, exploring international job prospects. A variety of international job options are often benefit for studying abroad. Students always have the option to stay back and apply for a work visa. International exposure is always favored for employment in many countries. Students have relevant experience of studying and living abroad are given preferences over other candidates.
Right.
Thank you, sir.
That's wonderful, sir. They have a different experience when they are studying abroad and they're coming back. The weightage, what they get apart from the other students, it's much better. Thank you so much, sir. We'll come up to Hemlata ma'am. Hemlata ma'am, we will also like to know your views on the same topic.
Sir, I would also tell that working experience for the children, as Alan sir was trying to tell, that it is really required, because as a common man, what he or herself has an experience that can be understood by the student. And I always respect that while I see the foreign students where they would be away after 16 years, setting their own set where they would come out, work, earn for their living, being pursue their further studies. So that way, as ma'am was also trying to add up, our NEP is already added the skill-based learning. So I would totally try to tell that we will have to respect that child with work as well as learning along with that, with a mutual understanding and respecting the things and balancing what is required for that particular age and why is that earning been happening, utilizing it for the right cause. So that way, I totally say that we will have to see to that the child working at that point is required, sir. No worry.
That's wonderful, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. Tejas sir, will come up to you now. My question, first question, I'll ask the second question also. The first question is that, okay, when it comes to the, if we categorize the schools into A, B, and C category, the paid off people, they can manage to go up with abroad studies. What are the other facilities like scholarship and all available for the students of B category, higher B category, or middle B category students? Those who don't have so much money with them, but still they want to go up for the higher education abroad.
Sir, as in, I say other way, even in India, we have a premium schools which are affordable, are where they have, how do you say, high net worth income people are studying, their children are studying in a premium school. So if the student is on a merit base, so they get scholarships based on that. It's not about the family income which gets them a scholarship. And even if, as you mentioned, there are different level of schools or different level of families or income groups, or even on a percentage base, there are different segments of the students. It is even in India and it is even abroad. So even if you talk about USA alone, there are premium Ivy League universities like Harvard, Oxford. So they take the student not just based on the family income, they also take based on the student of the merit. What is the credential the student is having? So, and there are state universities also in US, and there are also private universities in US. So even in all other countries, there are different segments of colleges and universities. And even in India, we have a different level of students based on their income or on their academic record. So as a consultant, it is our responsibility to match both the things. Same thing is looked after by the visa officials also when they are granting visas to the student. They see that student is of an average grade and he's applying to good university or getting a seat in a good university where it will be difficult for him to study or pass out. So they refuse the visa also. So these kind of balancing has to be done. On one hand, you have to see the student academic grades, his financial capacity, and on the other hand, you have to see the institution, their academic requirements, their fee charging or financial requirements, and you have to balance both all these things. So there are segments in everywhere, in every country. So as a consultant, it is our job to guide the parent because we are aware about both the sides. We know the student status, we know the university or country requirements, and we have to balance them and guide them. So there are possibilities for all kind of segment people to get a different, similar kind of segment institutions in other countries also.
Right. So my next question to you, a very important question is that you told us beforehand, before the show also, that you have started up some, collaboration and courses with the schools also, wherein the students will get a better help without moving up to the distance places. What is that, sir?
Um, as we are facing these challenges of language, we are facing the challenges of choosing the right country, college course. So we, as an organization, have come up with a plan where we have starting sort of academies within the school. So it is these academies are in under this academy we are preparing students for right from career counseling to the English language proficiency, and we are also preparing a student with the entrance requirements of they want to go to for GRE or SAT examination. So these preparatory things we are now talking to the students and the parents, and this facility we are providing to the schools. Like many schools these days have a tie-up with the IIT JEE coaching platform also. So we have brought this model where we are giving it to the schools, and without any investment, we are taking the responsibility of handling all the operations. We are appointing career counselors in the schools, and we are also putting up a specialized labs for training students on various tests. So IELTS, PT, they have these tests are all now being conducted on computer. They are computer-based tests. So we have developed the cloud-based technology where the students through school academy they can prepare for these tests without wasting any time. They can prepare from their home or whatever extra days or weekends they have, and we are doing the hand holding with that process.
That's a beautiful thing, sir, because till now we have been knowing that in the schools we have worked that ITJ coaching, they are collaborating, they are giving that education inside the school. But this is a very new concept that you are collaborating with the schools and giving this facility to the students on the school level only, where they don't have to move at distance places. They don't have to get into the wrong hands even, and they can get the guidance as well as assistance for everything when they wherever they want to go. That's wonderful, sir. A wonderful concept you have created, which is very different, and it will be very useful for the students who want to go abroad. They will, from this counseling, they'll come to know that where do they want to go. They are not knowing where they should go and what is the investment and what are the things, what are the pros and cons. Okay, whether here it will be like this, it won't suit me, and everything from A to Z, whatever is required when you're going for the abroad education. That's wonderful, sir. A wonderful concept you have created. Yes, sir.
Chandhok sir, I would like to add here. This is the concept. See, I have seen many consultants or even the universities doing education fairs within the good school. The schools are organizing the fairs, and the university representatives are coming there and doing the career counseling. They are only helping students at the final stage to choose the right course and college. Right? What is the student interest and doing that thing. They are not actually preparing the students. And this concept which we have brought, we have seen this concept working in China very largely. The many Chinese schools, they have this concept of English academies in their own premises or through working through AI powered, or there are a lot of technologies which have come, and many schools have language labs already existing in their schools, but they don't have that test platform or test preparation model which we have brought through digital technologies and which we are presenting to the school. And this has had very large numbers in China because they also the English is the second, not even the second language, it's the alien language for them. But they have transformed and they have used this technology and through school media, and that is how the Chinese are the highest number of students going abroad across any country in the world. So I'm just giving you an example. We have to learn, and this similar kind the technology which we have brought is with the collaboration of world's biggest company, Pearson. They have another division which worked in very largely in China. So similar technology and similar concept we have brought here also, and we can even demonstrate those to the any institutions and wherever there's a demand for that. So handholding is done from the right beginning for all the eligibility criteria.
That's wonderful, sir. That's wonderful. It's really going to help all the schools and the students also for their education if they're interested for a abroad education. That's wonderful. Thank you so much, DJ sir, for the knowledge and the concepts you people have created. It was actually very different. That is why I invited you that you should come and guide us for the education abroad. Thank you so much. Coming up to the last part of the show, as everybody knows over here, that we have a me time for last 5 to 7 minutes. And Hemlata ma'am is also very talented. Let me see where she is because she'll be the showstopper. She's a very good dancer and a very good singer also. Lot of videos she keeps on putting over there. So we'll start up with Animesh sir today. He's a gentleman
Sir,
and
yes,
it's
sir.
always
As a technical glitch here, I am not able to connect my camera and I'm not audible properly. I am a professional dancer, sir, where I have performed all over South India till almost my master or my master graduation. But now again, I didn't want to leave the passion. So there where I tried to see to that, I will open my classes. I teach kids also simultaneously whenever I have some free time, and somewhere the media is also helping me to gather some new challenges because there are enormous methods. Mine is a classical dance. Along with that, I have also learned few other types and styles also, sir. Thank you for highlighting this.
that's wonderful, man. It's a pleasure. And we want to know your
Yes,
another talent also that we need that you should sing 2 lines in Kannada. I think Kannada you speak.
yes, sir. I do speak Kannada. Yes, definitely I will, sir.
So,
There is one patriotic song, Jaya Bharat Janani Tanujate Jaya He
ma'am,
Karnataka Mata, like our national anthem, sir. Jaya Bharat Janani Tanujate Jaya He Karnataka Mate Jaya Bharat Janani Tanujate Jaya He Karnataka Mate. Yes, sir.
wonderful, ma'am. Wonderful. We were able to
Thank
understand
you,
the
sir.
things because it is somewhat the same. Jai Hai, Jai Hai. So
Yes,
same
sir.
it was.
Yes,
Animesh
sir.
sir, Animesh sir. Everybody has to move for other work, and before parting, we should have good
So I am
memories.
having a
And
bad
of
throat. If
course,
you can, today I am having a very bad throat. If you can allow me not to
sir,
sing, please.
sir, you are an educationist, sir. You are a what do you call that genie? You can do anything. Educationists can do anything, anytime.
Okay, sir, I'll try. Uh, छोड़ो कल की बातें, कल की बात पुरानी, नए दौर में निकलेंगे लेकर नई कहानी. हम हिंदुस्तानी, हम हिंदुस्तानी. Thank you, sir.
Good, sir. Everybody's becoming very patriotic today. I feel like it is either 15th August or 26th January. Thank you so much, sir. Well tried, sir. And you have to rehearse with one of the very good song for the next episode or season whenever you are coming, sir. Jessica,
Definitely, sir.
ma'am.
Thank you.
Jessica, ma'am.
Sarpreet, you know I don't sing. I speak, but I don't sing. I, I that's not my area at all.
Ma'am, something you want to speak? Okay, okay. Any poem or anything?
You've heard me long enough to speak today, but I think that's probably
Jaldi
more
kar.
than enough.
But ma'am, any lines? Okay. Your school assembly, anything? Anything from school
Sarab, you
assembly?
will
Anything,
not be
ma'am?
able to convince me to sing on a public platform. Impossible. That's my one crossroad that I'm not going to cross.
Ma'am, I'm always so proud of you of all the things,
Any
ma'am, and you are
poetry we can
putting it
hear
down.
from you?
Any poetry, ma'am.
See, there is a beautiful poem which normally I'm not good at Hindi, but I will, since everybody is saying it's patriotic and we need to get into that zone. It's for Alan's benefit, it's the desire of a flower, Pushp ki Abhilasha. And I remember my father used to recite it to me when I was younger. And it's the first poem which I ever recited on a public platform, so I'll do the same. चाह नहीं मैं सुरबा लाके गहनों में गूंथा जाऊं, चाह नहीं प्रेमी माला में बिंद प्यारी को ललचाऊं, चाह नहीं देवों के सर पर चढ़ू भाग्य पर इठलाऊं, चाह नहीं सम्राटों के शव पर हे हरि डाला जाऊं, मुझे तोड़ लेना वनमाली, उस पथ पर तुम देना फेंक, मातृभूमि पर शीश चढ़ाने जिस पथ जाए वीर अनेक. For those who, like Alan, if you didn't understand it, it is the desire of a flower that he says, I don't want to be put in a necklace. I don't want to be gifted to a love. I don't want to be put on monarchs' bodies. I don't want to be put in temples or places of worship. I need you to just pluck me and throw me on the path where the soldiers who give their lives for the motherland, they walk over me. And that would be the biggest honor that you give to me. That's the desire of a flower.
Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful, ma'am. Wonderful, ma'am. Ellen, sir, your turn now, sir. Something in Danish.
Yeah, I'll stay in the patriotic mode. Our crown prince was in Delhi yesterday. I think he's still there. So I'll sing our national anthem. Der et yndigt land, det står med brede bøger, nær salten Østerstrand, nær salten Østerstrand. Det bugter sig i Bakkedal, det hedder gamle Danmark, og det er Freja sag, og det er Freja sag. That was the first verse of our national anthem.
Wunderbar, ausgezeichnet.
That's wonderful, sir. That's wonderful, sir. DJ sir, will you like to try something, sir? We have a culture everybody has to sing, sir.
Sanjeev sir, we are good in Punjabi songs, but this is not the forum for that, and I am not a good individual speaker or singer. Sorry. I will take this opportunity to share one small writing. It's like, you can't say it's a kavita or something. It's just or you can say a share. It's in Hindi, and Mr. Allen, please excuse me for that. अपने जीवन की तुलना किसी के साथ नहीं करनी चाहिए. अपने जीवन की तुलना किसी के साथ नहीं करनी चाहिए. सूर्य और चंद्रमा के बीच कोई तुलना नहीं है. सूर्य और चंद्रमा के बीच कोई तुलना नहीं है. जब जिसका वक्त आता है वो चमकता है. Thank you. This was a small thing.
Very nice.
Small translation. Please excuse me for that if it is wrong. It's like we should not compare among ourselves. Sun and moon, they are not same. They shine when their time comes. So
everybody has his own time. You should not compare and feel jealous, and should move forward. That's wonderful, sir. Thank you so much, DJ sir.
No, Sarpreet, not at all.
Your chance,
It's
sir.
me time.
yes.
So I will go for a small Hindi song, 2 lines, which I remember all the time, because चलते चलते मेरे ये गीत याद रखना, कभी अलविदा ना कहना, कभी अलविदा ना कहना. So Alan sir, while moving, you should not say goodbye. We'll meet again, and we'll meet again. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. I hope you had a wonderful time, a wonderful session,
Definitely.
a wonderful get-together. I'll be sharing you the contact details with each other, so that you may remain connected with each other. We have to create a community. Yeah, we have to create a community of the education for sure. Thank you so much, DJ sir, Yashika ma'am,
Let's keep in touch. Yes, thank you.
Sure.
Thank you, sir, Abhijit sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a
I
great
enjoyed
week.
it very much.
Thank you. It was a pleasure meeting you all.
Alan.
Thank you so much.